Welcome to the tour of Watopia, stage 5. We have 42 kilometers and 660 meters climbing. Now, in a race you would shoot out of the start and try and get a front group, but for this one my strategy is to just go out at a steady pace and find a group that I can work with at around 2.5 to 3 watts per kilo. That front group, if you have a look, a lot of Tron bikes in there, indicates experienced riders. If I wanted to go harder, I'd sit with them, but for me, my approach for these rides, particularly indoor, is to try and keep within zone 2, zone 3 heart rate. It means I'm not as fatigued day after day if I do quite a bit of riding. I normally do about 10 hours a week, so this is the approach I take. Really don't do too much hard work indoors. Now, what I'm hoping for is a group to form. Should happen soon. There we go. A few riders coming up now. You probably want more than 5, maybe 10 would be good. What have we got here? 4, 8, 9, 10. Yep, 10. And if you look at their watts, they're on 2, 2.5. That's good. Here we go, so moving into the group now. What am I on? I'm on 2.8 watts, 2.6. Once I get into the group, I'll probably drop down to 2. There you go, 2.2. Once you get the draft effect. 1 or 2 Tron bikes in there. Some experienced riders. It normally means I'll pace better and won't shoot off and then slow down, so more consistent power output. Yep, I'll just sit in here. Now if you look at the other group there, already 9 seconds ahead. Watts wise, they're probably around 3 watts per kilo, a bit high for me in this kind of race for what I want to do. Ride, I should say. So just nicely managing my effort, heart rate wise, it's on 111. So my zone 2, top of zone 2 is 130 beats per minute. My zone 3 is 130 to 146, so my target for this ride will be to ride mainly zone 2 and zone 3. There'll be a little bit of threshold work near the end of the Epic KOM. That's the way to do it on Zwift. You've got to be a bit conservative with your power, because unlike outdoors, you don't have periods where you coast along. It's all pedaling, so you really can overdo it indoors if you're not careful. So the whole zone 2 principle is great if you want to ride indoors and build amazing endurance fitness. The Epic KOM starts at around the 5k mark, so about 3k to go. I'll speed up sections, but basically I've put the whole ride up because it's enjoyable to see and watch if you're into this kind of thing. Heart rate's still 117, so you know it's very important when you start any ride not to spike your heart rate. That's why you need a proper warm-up, but don't push your heart rate up to a crazy level. If you're going to start hard, you really must warm up properly and get your heart rate elevated already before you leave the start. So very important to manage your effort early on, and it sets you up quite nicely for a ride. Now, as I keep saying here, sit in the bunch, manage your effort. 2.5 watts per kilo, plenty for me. Heart rate 122, so still nicely in zone 2. Power is just under 200 watts, that's good. Now we're going through a glowing arch, so we'll hopefully pick up a power up. With the tour of Watopia, there's a lot of glowing arches, so you can always use the power ups prior. So you'll probably get about 5 or 6 opportunities along the way. So once again, as you can see, just nicely managing the effort. A few riders coming up. Sometimes you'll get them come flying through. I'll speed up this section till we get to the Epic KOM. Okay, Epic KOM, Enter the Dragon. Well, we have got up to Zwift, we've got Mount Ventoux, Volcano Climb, and then Epic KOM. I think Epic KOM was the original climb in Zwift. Beautiful climb. Don't go too quick too early, you'll pay for it. So what I'm trying to do at the moment, I want to keep in the group, I want to use the draft. Don't want to do anything too exciting heart rate power wise, but I am pushing a reasonably good gear and holding 3.5 watts per kilo as needed. The group is just settling. We're only a minute in to a potential 25-minute to 30-minute climb. So, you know, that's a long effort. So, always better to start easy and build and ride into the climb, rather than start fast and then decline the climb. You don't want to decline the climb on the climb. So just trying to steady and use the others as a bit of a pace carrot. So I'm watching their watts. A couple of guys are surging a bit there, so I'm just reacting slightly, smoothly, consistently. Again, critical here, keep everything smooth power wise, no sudden changes, no sudden surges. Now they're getting away a little bit from me. That's just your typical excitement of hitting a climb, but I will just slowly pull them back with steady efforts. Heart rate is now getting up around the 130, so up to the lower part of zone 3, keeping it managed. Now some people would come through this group and now pull away. I'm not going to do that, just going to keep it steady, hold the group. That rider standing means they're below cadence. I think it's 60 or 70. It's a sign they're pushing it a bit. Only 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, so a little bit early for that. Now a little bit of a leadership here across the bridge. Steady watts, 3.2, 3.5. I don't want to get away from anyone at all, so I'm just hoping that they'll slowly come back and we'll still maintain the grip, because there's still a good advantage for drafts here. It's only 3%. So they're just there. Come on. Here he comes. That's good. Just coming up. That's good. That's the way. At this stage, I'm starting to think maybe I need to look ahead to the 34-second riders. Oh no, here they come, they're coming back. I'll keep an eye on those people ahead. Not that I'm going to try and chase them, but they're a group up ahead. If I can hold a consistent pace, they might be a good group to continue riding with if this group drops away. Although they're close, but they're not grouping up. And my power isn't that high, 3.3 watts per kilo, it's not that bad. So just waiting. Let's see. Now what I have following is a lecture by a sports scientist on Zone 2 training, and what a typical Zone 2 training program would be. So I'll let you have a listen to this whilst we watch the climbing. It goes for about 5 or 10 minutes. It's a lecture style, 1 or 2, 3 or 4 points, so pretty clear, pretty concise. Have a listen to this anyway. See you on the other side.
Zone 2 training is important in cycling because it focuses on building endurance and improving cardiovascular function. Zone 2 is the heart rate zone where you are exercising at a moderate intensity, usually between 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Here are some reasons why Zone 2 training is so important. 1. Builds aerobic base. Zone 2 training is often referred to as base training because it helps to build a strong aerobic foundation. By training at a moderate intensity for longer durations, you can improve your body's ability to use oxygen and produce energy efficiently. This can improve your overall endurance and help you sustain higher intensities for longer periods of time. 2. Increases fat metabolism. Zone 2 training also helps to increase your body's ability to use fat as a fuel source. This is important for endurance athletes like cyclists because it allows them to conserve glycogen stores for high-intensity efforts. Training in Zone 2 helps to improve fat metabolism, making it easier to maintain endurance efforts. 3. Improves cardiovascular function. Zone 2 training helps to improve cardiovascular function by increasing stroke volume, the amount of blood pumped per beat, and reducing resting heart rate. This means that the heart becomes more efficient at pumping blood, delivering oxygen and nutrients to the muscles, and removing waste. 4. Reduces injury risk. Zone 2 training is low intensity and low impact, which means it can be done more frequently without increasing the risk of injury. By incorporating more Zone 2 training into your cycling routine, you can reduce the risk of overuse injuries and improve overall recovery. Overall, Zone 2 training is important for building endurance, improving cardiovascular function, increasing fat metabolism, and reducing injury risk. It should be a regular part of any cyclist's training program to improve overall performance and endurance. What about Zone 2 training and weight loss in cycling? Zone 2 training can be effective for weight loss in cycling because it helps to burn fat as a fuel source. When you exercise at a low to moderate intensity in Zone 2, your body relies primarily on fat for energy. This is because at this intensity, there is enough oxygen available to the muscles to support fat metabolism. Here are some ways that Zone 2 training can support weight loss in cycling. 1. Increases fat metabolism. Zone 2 training helps to increase the body's ability to use fat as a fuel source. This means that the body becomes more efficient at burning fat for energy during low to moderate intensity exercise. By incorporating more Zone 2 training into your cycling routine, you can improve your overall fat metabolism and burn more calories during exercise. 2. Increases calorie burn. While Zone 2 training may not burn as many calories as high-intensity intervals, it can still be effective for weight loss. When you exercise for longer durations in Zone 2, you can still burn a significant number of calories. This can help to create a calorie deficit, which is necessary for weight loss. 3. Reduces stress. Cycling in Zone 2 is a low-stress, low-impact activity. This means that it can be done more frequently without increasing the risk of injury or causing excessive fatigue. By incorporating more Zone 2 training into your routine, you can reduce the stress on your body and make it easier to maintain a consistent exercise program. 4. Improves overall health. Zone 2 training is good for overall health because it improves cardiovascular function, strengthens muscles, and reduces the risk of chronic diseases. By improving your overall health, you may find it easier to maintain a healthy weight over the long term. While Zone 2 training can be effective for weight loss, it is important to remember that weight loss ultimately comes down to creating a calorie deficit. This means that you need to burn more calories than you consume. By incorporating Zone 2 training into your cycling routine, you can improve your overall calorie burn and create a more sustainable weight loss plan. What would be a typical Zone 2 training plan for a beginner cyclist looking to build a good base? A Zone 2 cycling training program typically involves longer duration rides at a moderate intensity. Here is an example of what a week of Zone 2 training might look like for a beginner cyclist. We would expect this weekly program to repeat for the next 2 to 3 months. Monday, rest day. Tuesday, 60 to 90 minute Zone 2 ride at a moderate pace. Focus on maintaining a consistent effort throughout the ride. Wednesday, cross-training or active recovery. This could include activities like yoga, Pilates, or light strength training. Thursday, 90 to 120 minute Zone 2 ride at a moderate pace. Include some rolling hills or terrain changes to add variety to the workout. Friday, rest day or active recovery. This could include an easy spin on the bike or a walk. Saturday, 2 to 3 hour Zone 2 ride at a moderate pace. This is a longer endurance ride that should be done at a comfortable pace. Ensure you hydrate well and eat consistently. Sunday, 90 to 120 minute Zone 2 ride at a moderate pace. Include some tempo intervals or hill climbs to challenge yourself. Go at an intensity you can sustain without overdoing it. It's important to remember that everyone's training program will be different depending on their fitness level and goals. You may need to start with shorter rides and gradually build up to longer duration rides. It's also important to listen to your body and adjust your training program as needed to avoid injury or overtraining. When training in Zone 2, it's important to focus on maintaining a consistent effort rather than trying to go faster. Resist the temptation to chase other riders. This will help to improve your overall endurance and fat metabolism, which are the primary goals of Zone 2 training. Also keep in mind that this program is over 2 to 3 months and fatigue management will be central for new riders to manage, so adjust your efforts and load accordingly. Consistency is key. Over time, you should start to see improvements in your cardiovascular fitness, endurance, and overall cycling performance. Having a good Zone 2 base is the perfect foundation for more challenging, longer, or higher intensity riding.
Okay, hopefully you found that little talk on Zone 2 informative. Now, we're starting to get the gradient, and what you'll start to see now are riders who may not be comfortable with pushing higher resistance or harder gear. I'll start to fade a little bit. There's only one person with me now, it looks like. The others, I don't think, as I said before, I don't think I'll catch the others. But that's okay, it's not about catching people, it's just about holding a sustainable pace. So as soon as it steepens up, I'm now going to put a bit more effort in and just move the heart rate up, probably above 146. So I've got about 10 beats space here, sitting on about 3.6 watts per kilo, not bad. So I'll start to get to a point where I'm climbing on my own here. which is okay because I've got the pace right. If you have a look at the little mini map, you can see where 3/4 of the way up, maybe probably another 10 minutes climbing. There's a couple of riders ahead, and there's one guy stopped here, probably had a trainer outage, not to worry. The others are, well, they've got plenty of time on me, and I wouldn't, as I said, try and chase them unnecessarily. There's no point. The important work of the hill was earlier, where I sat in the groups and tried to save energy and didn't surge too much. Now it's just a matter of climbing to watts and heart rate. So heart rate sneaked up now to about 140. I'll keep it there and then slowly bring it up when the terrain gets steeper. Not a real advantage pushing too hard here when it's only 4%. There is a power up to use as I'm going through the banner again. I picked up another feather. Now what I do here is whenever I get a power up, I actually put a bit more extra effort in to really take advantage of the less weight. In this case, this power up gives me less weight, so I do push the power quite a bit to take advantage of that. once the power up goes away, I'll settle back down. As you can see, heart rate got to 145 and just on the precipice of threshold. Now we're up high here in a virtual world. Plenty of good views of the mountains. If you've ever been at Mount Hotham in Australia, this is how it looks in parts. You've got the high country left and right. You're sort of along a ridge, and you've got some steep climbs up and then some big drops down. Beautiful riding, absolutely beautiful riding. So here's a guy he's a couple of seconds ahead. He's back right off in power, so he's only done a kilometre, so he's probably come into the ride late and he's just starting to go. Now with these I try and surge a bit and then punch out, big gear, don't change down and just grind it. Kind of feels good. And then down again, spin, 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 and then just gently build up and surge up. Now as you can see now, heart rate's at 149, so I'm in the threshold range. Don't want to be here too long, but at the same time making good power so I can sit on it for a while. Now the ETA's come up, 25 minutes, yeah, that's good. 27:43 is my PR. But you know, most of these rides, as I say, I rarely go flat chat. I try and just hold a strong, sustainable pace. So 25 is pretty good for me. Heart rate 151, so it's gone up a bit since I surged. Heart rate's always a bit laggy depending on what you've just done, so that would be a result of that effort, that 5 watts per kilo effort, a minute or so back. It's at 151. Of course, the fitter you are, the quicker that heart rate will come down. Now sometimes the actual heart rate monitor is dodgy and stops responding, so if you keep seeing 151 it means that it's not working, but it went to 152, so we'll see. I think it's alright. Yeah, it's gone back down again, so hopefully it's responding alright. That's a bit high, but we'll see. Alright, final 800 metres. Now 800 metres on the flat is nothing. On a climb it is damn tough, especially when you're at threshold or above. So I'm looking at that ETA and thinking, I reckon I can go 24:59, 25:01. So I'm just experimenting a little bit here with the power. So you can see now I've jumped it up to 4.6 watts per kilo and the ETA's gone to 24:46. I don't think I can sustain that, but we'll see. Heart rate's at 154, so I'm just in the middle of the threshold. Over 161, I'm into anaerobic, which will happen. 500 metres to go, 6% average gradient. I think I can hold this, but heart rate's pretty high. This is a pretty tough effort. Cadence is good, it's around 99-100. So it hasn't dropped back, so I'm still coping here. I don't know if sub 25 is going to happen, but I think 25 should happen hopefully. 300 metres or so to go. Oop, heart rate's over threshold now, so I'm into anaerobic. So pretty tough. Only 4 watts per kilo. Fatigue's obviously creeping in now. 200 watts, that's nothing. That's only half a lap of the running track. But at this level, this steepness, it's tough. The finish line, go, pump it. 25:01, 25, I'm not sure if I can do 164 heart rate, that's pretty high. Nearly near max. Just hold power as best I can. And hopefully Still got to keep riding after this. I'll be solo for quite a while, so that'll be a bit harder than being in the group. Let's see. Yeah, nearly there. There you go. Look, 25 flat. Okay, and I'll get that little cart thing. So that's alright, good effort. Pretty happy with that. Geez, where is everyone? Yeah, I knew this would happen. So, solo on the descent, not too bad, but yeah, it's nice to be with a group. Auto change on the mountain bike, that's good. Now this section's like a big dirt bowl, you sort of go down to the bottom, then come up. I'll probably speed this one up again as well. Not that exciting, but good riding. If you're on the trainer, it's great riding. So we'll knock off this downhill section, and then we're going up back onto the road, and we're near the end basically. Okay, Brennan home, mama. Now if I was in a group, I would have similar speed, but I'm on about 3.5 watts per kilo, or maybe less, but I would have similar speed for a little bit less effort. So I am going to hold pace because, well, here's an example. If you look at the people that are at 109, 110, well, they should be using a little bit less power. The guy at the back's on 3.1. What am I on? 2.7, so that doesn't make sense. But you get what I mean. Generally the group would be able to hold similar speed for less watts, and that's where you want to be. But at the same time now I have held this gap, so I might as well keep going, just time trialing to the finish. And that's it. That's Tour of Watopia 2023 with the Epic KOM climb. Fantastic riding, and hopefully the Zone 2 chat was useful. See you next time. Ride on, everybody. Bye.